All right, welcome to the Nash Potatoes Coffee Show. I'm sitting here today with my mom and her friend Jan. I will introduce them here in a minute. Today we're going to do a blind coffee tasting. We're doing 4 light roast coffee on this show. All the coffees will be unflavored and they'll be from well-known companies. So today my guests are, over here's my mother, as I call her, Dodie El Fayed. And then over here we've got Janerelli, Janet from Three's Company. We're going to have some fun today, so we hope you will sit through. We're just doing 4 coffees. We're going to do them once just black, and then we're going to do them once with cream. We're going to score them both times and average the score and see who wins. It's a blind tasting, so we'll tell you who the actual names of the coffee are at the end of the show. So here we are. I wanted to make a quick note that we are not super tasters. We're just doing an informal coffee tasting. I looked at the statistics, and about 25% of the population are considered super tasters. They actually have more taste buds in their mouth. They're wine connoisseurs, chefs, coffee tasters. We are not those people. 50% of the population are average tasters, which is probably what I am.
Yeah, me too.
And then 25% are non-tasters, which actually have less taste buds in their mouth. So I just wanted to make that known. Also, the way that coffee is scored is on a 100-point system. And so I'm going to give you guys some baselines so you kind of know about how to score it. Okay. So anything that's scored over an 80 is considered specialty coffee. And this is quite different from commodity coffee like Folgers or Maxwell House. So specialty coffee is also very distinctly different from gourmet or premium coffee. People use those terms loosely. Specialty coffee is a coffee that's been professionally scored 80 or higher. And I'll give you some good baselines here. So specialty coffee has increased its market share from 1% to 20% in the last 25 years. So if you think about it in terms of that, only 20% of the coffees on the shelf are considered specialty, or in coffee shops. So to give you more perspective, coffeereview.com, they scored thousands of coffees, and they've never scored anything higher than a 97. And so I'll go from lowest to highest and give you an idea of what stuff has been coming in at coffeereview.com. So Folgers came in at a 67, which goes for about $5 a pound. Maxwell House came in at a 78, which is fairly good. Comes in at about $6 a pound. Starbucks Veranda, which is their new light roast, that came in at 80, and that goes for about $11 a pound. And then working the way up, Pete's Luminosa is another light roast. Pete's is a very well-known coffee shop for great coffee. That comes in at about $13 a pound. And then, this is where the tide changes a little bit. Jamaican Blue Mountain scores an 89, but is $50 a pound. Wow. And so if you're thinking of scoring something like a 90-ish, just think that, is this really $50 a pound coffee? Yeah. Now we got Kona, which comes in at a rating of 96, which is $100 a pound. So that gives you a little baseline. So we'll get started with this. One more quick note. I do have a slight advantage in that I know which coffees we're tasting. I just don't know which order they're coming in. So I bought the 4 light roast coffees. I just have no idea what order they're in. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But since this is an informal tasting, we should be all right. So, all right, who's ready to have some fun?
I am.
All right, so this is how we're going to do it. We're going to, all of our coffee is prepared using a French press. And so we've got our first coffee right here in front of us. We're going to taste it black this time. We're going to keep our scores private so that we're not persuaded by the other person's scores. We're going to keep our scores private until the end, and then we'll tally them all up and see who the winner is. So here we go. Coffee number 1.
So are we scoring these or not?
So this is a light roast coffee, and what we're going to do, taste it a couple times, give it a score, and then what I want you to do is write down a couple of words to describe it. And we will share that description before we move on to the second cup. So for me, I guess we can talk about the description as we get ready to score. For me, it's very smooth.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Mm-hmm. I do, and
not super strong.
Yeah, not super strong,
which I like, even though I'm Dutch.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely a light.
Mm-hmm.
So for my description, I'll put smooth, and that'll just help me a little bit remember as we move on to the next ones, and then I'll think about the score here. But so we will be right back with coffee number 2. All right, welcome back to the Nash Potatoes Coffee Show. We're here with Dodie El Fayed and Janet from Three's Company. And I'm Jason. So we tasted our first coffee. We've scored it. And this is the second coffee. It's a light roast made with a French press. And it's a blind tasting, so we'll reveal the name of it at the end. So here goes. I should say that as I was making this in the French press, I noticed that it produced a really great crema, which in my mind is a sign of a pretty quality coffee. What we're trying to do in our mind is we realize that anything over an 80 is considered specialty coffee. We realize that something scored a 96 is probably $100 a pound. So we're kind of trying to gauge, is it specialty? Is it not?
This seems a little darker. I mean, not as light as the first one.
And Jan brought up a good point on the first tasting. She says, you repeat what you were saying in your mind and how you should score it according to, do I like it?
Yeah,
or
I mean,
based on my palate?
Yeah, I'm definitely more of a medium roast, darker roast. So light roast, I mean, I can tell it's good coffee, but it's not necessarily something I would go in and purchase.
Yeah.
I would definitely buy a medium roast.
This is a darker roast, so
and
I
it's
definitely wouldn't buy
it's
this.
not delicious. I haven't found too many coffees I don't like.
Yeah.
So
this flavor is definitely different than the first one, I can tell.
Yeah.
Just trying to figure out the description.
In the first one, you could definitely tell it was a light roast. In this one, if I didn't know that it was a light roast, I would have guessed that it's a medium roast.
Yeah. It has a delicious smell.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, so while we score these coffees, I'm going to go prepare the third batch, and we will be right back. All right, we're back with Dodie El Fayed, Janet from Three's Company. This is our third tasting. We've scored our first and our second, and we're starting to get a little caffeinated here, so luckily we're only doing 4, and then we'll switch to the cream coffees and score it. But so this is tasting number 3. Here we go. Light roast produced with a French press.
Cheers.
Cheers. That's a good one. Only my mom would think of that. So Jan made a good observation as she was looking at her cup of coffee. What was that, Jan?
Well, it looks darker, and it had a lighter foam on it.
Yeah, I agree.
And I thought, so actually when I tasted it, I thought it would be a darker roast flavor.
Okay.
And it's not.
But it's not.
Not in mine.
So that really fooled me.
Yeah.
It's light.
What about you, Mom? Where does this fall between number 1 and number 2?
1.5.
No, between the first coffee and the second coffee, as far as how much you like it. That's why my mom is on this show. She is freaking hilarious.
I think I like it better than the first one, actually. So
I thought you would, because you like light roast.
So like I said at the beginning, I have an unfair advantage in that I know which coffees we're tasting. I just don't know which order they're coming in. And I think I know why my mom likes this one. I'll reveal it at the end. Because it might affect the scoring if I say it now. But
it is very smooth. It is very...
Yeah, so whoever picked out these coffees did a great job.
Yeah.
We'll be right back with coffee number 4. All right, we hope you enjoyed the commercial break. We're back with coffee number 4. This is the last one we're going to taste, and then we're actually going to add cream to the same 4 and score it again and average out those scores. So here goes coffee number 4. What do you think, Jan?
I think you gotta keep
like
going
it.
back. I like it too.
It's almost
It's smooth.
between strong and light to me. I feel like it's a happy medium.
Another reason that we're tasting them a second time with cream is that at this point we've tasted all 4 coffees, and now we can compare 1 versus 3 in comparison to each other. So I feel like that'll affect the scoring on the second round, and then we'll average them all out and see how it falls. But how would you describe this one, Mom?
Just middle of the road, right?
Middle of the road.
Right.
Jane, you got a description for this one?
Yeah, this is not as dark. I think this is again a light. It to me it's deceptive because it looks so dark, and I'm used to lighter roasts being light in color.
I don't know about you
Maybe
two,
they're
but
not.
I love the smell of a light roast.
Yeah.
It's something about the smell of it is really, really
Yeah.
good. Maybe it's the absence of the burnt smell of a dark roast, but
That's very good.
all right.
It's almost gone.
While we tally up these scores, I'm going to go add some cream to coffees 1 through 4, and we'll be right back. All right, this is where the action gets really interesting. We've got, we're back to coffee number 1, but we've added half and half. So we're going to go and taste this one and see, do we want to rate it the same, higher, lower? Now that we've got a baseline of what 4 coffees we're dealing with, this is going to be a whole new ball game. So here goes coffee number 1 with half and half. So the main reason I wanted to do 2 tastings is because both my mom and Jane typically drink their coffee with cream. So that's what they're used to, the flavor profile and that kind of stuff. So Mom, do you think the cream made it better or not as good?
Not as good.
Yeah, I agree. How about you, Jan?
Yeah.
Oh,
same.
man.
Yeah.
Take it
Same.
from 2 ladies that drink it with cream. It's better black.
It
yeah.
is better black.
Wow. So
that's got to come down my score.
So as we score these, we'll give you time to take a bathroom break, and we'll be right back. All right, we're back. This is coffee number 2 with half and half. And if you're just tuning in, we're doing light roasts made with a French press. Cheers.
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 So if you remember, when we tasted this as just a black coffee, we all kind of agreed that it had a little bit darker profile to it.
Yeah.
What is your opinion?
I like it much better.
I think the
Oh.
cream.
It takes away the bitter.
So that's very interesting.
So, but even for me, because I liked it darker, I think the cream was good.
Yeah.
I agree. I believe the cream enhanced this one, and maybe
Yeah.
because it did have a darker taste, that
It was much better, in my opinion.
maybe we will become professional coffee
Yeah.
tasters after all.
Well, what's professional? People who do things.
Yeah.
I mean, we are the consumers.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. We like what we like.
yeah, that's right.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We will be right back with coffee number 4, or coffee number 3, I should say. Hang on. We'll be right back. All right, we are back. This is coffee number 3 with cream. So if you remember the first time we tasted this, This was kind of a tricky one. This was one that my mom really liked, and I think I knew why she liked it. So it'll be interesting to see how the cream changes this, whether it makes it more flavorful, less flavorful. Let's check it out.
Of course, then when we went to another toll booth after that, she says, "Well, I just paid for that last one at this one too." Well, that'll really screw them.
Mom, opinion?
It's not doing it for me.
It just doesn't have the flavor.
She
when
really,
put the
really
cream.
liked this.
I know, and it was good. It was
It's taken
one of my
away from
higher
the-
ratings.
Yeah.
It
And
was smooth.
Yeah.
But that's the thing.
Yeah.
It was so good without
Out the cream.
that. This
Yeah.
just makes it taste like cream.
And I should say it's very interesting that we're noticing such a difference with the cream because none of us are really light roast coffee drinkers on the regular. We're pretty much medium roast coffee drinkers.
Yeah.
And I occasionally add cream. I usually do it black in the morning. So it's very interesting to see the light roast be so affected by the cream. I never would have guessed. For me, I enjoy it. It's up there. Not the best, not the worst.
Yeah.
But I could
Takes
drink
away
it.
from the
I could-
flavor.
Maybe if you add a little whip, I might like it better.
I agree with you. It does take away from the flavor.
It takes away from the flavor of the
Yeah.
coffee.
It really
It does.
did.
I taste
great
more
point.
half and half than the flavor.
Yeah.
So.
Almost has a latte-ish flavor, plain latte flavor to it. So
Yeah.
we're getting good at this. Hang on, we'll be right back with coffee number 4. All right, we are back. This is our final coffee tasting. Before we taste, I want to bring up a point to both of you ladies and to the audience.
Okay.
So the last coffee, we agreed that the cream lessened the flavor, but I actually scored it higher because it was so smooth. What are your opinions on that?
Well, actually, I thought it was smooth without the cream. So
Yeah, true.
I don't know. I scored it down.
Yeah, so we're raising some good questions here.
Yeah.
We're not professionals, but we
know
are raising
what
some
we
good
like.
questions. Here we go. Cheers to the last one.
All right.
We are fully caffeinated at this point, so we apologize if we're talking too loud. Who wants to go first on this one?
Well, this was one I rated the highest, and I think it's equally as high with the cream. It's not taken away from the flavor at all.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good light before. I don't think it takes away, but I don't know if it enhances. But
Yeah. I don't think it enhances either, but to me, it's still right the top of the 4.
Yeah, so for me, this was my second highest rated coffee. The description I put on the black side was mellow, and it's still very mellow. As far as the flavor side, I guess that's a tough call, but for me, it's still a very good coffee.
Yeah.
All right, guys, so at this point, we have 2 scores for each of the 4 tastings.
Good.
We're going to tally up her 2, my 2, and Jan's 2. We're going to find a winner, and we're going to find 3 losers. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Time for the big reveal. We have added up both of her scores on tasting number 1, and both of mine scores on tasting number 1, and both of Jan's scores on tasting number 1. And we got an average. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the losers, and we'll work our way up to the winner. So our 4th place coffee was tasting number 2, which came in at an average of 65.5. And the ladies don't know what this is yet, so here we go.
no,
Ooh. This is actually Pete's Luminosa, which ranked so high on coffeereview.com.
Nice.
So
No.
let me put this up to the camera there. I think it got scored an 88 on coffeereview.com.
Okay.
and it was my highest scoring.
Oh, was it?
We might be jaded by a couple
So-
scores on this side, but
Yeah,
hey, we're
that was
rookies. We don't
Pete.
claim to, we don't
Okay.
claim to be
Yeah.
experts. But so another thing that I wanted to bring up here is I took the coffees and put a price per pound on the coffees based on what I paid for them at Target.
Okay.
So to give a kind of baseline of what the score is versus the cost. So Pete's comes in at $12.65 per pound.
Ooh.
And that is a pound price, which it doesn't come in a pound package, but that would be the pound price.
Okay.
So that's what we got. 65.5 for the Pete's Coffee Columbia Luminosa, which is a light roast. All right, so third place, we have tasting number 1, which is, all right, this is a Kona blend from Archer Farms, which is Target's brand of coffee.
Yeah.
Oh.
And this got a score of 66.5. You can see it right there. So I actually did, Kona blend is what it is. I actually did a little bit of research on Archer Farms and Target because I've been getting some really good coffees from there. Some of my favorite ones. And so my notes here, let's see. So Archer Farms is Target's exclusive private brand. In July of 2016, which is just less than a year ago, they actually expanded their coffee selection, which is why they have these Kona blends and Mocha Java blends and stuff like that. So if you're not familiar with a blend is, just think about wine. So like if you would get a Pinot Grigio wine, that would be like a single origin wine, just Pinot Grigio grapes. So when you get a wine blend, what they do is they take multiple grapes and just get a good tasting wine. And it's the same thing with coffee. If you get just a Colombian coffee, you're going to pay more because it's single origin, and you might like just that Colombian flavor. You might like that Costa Rican flavor. But the blend, the nice thing about the blend is that they take multiple beans in order to produce a great tasting cup. So don't be afraid to buy these blends that are less expensive.
Yeah.
So let's get the price on this Kona blend here. Archer Farms comes in at $8.92 per pound. And that's before tax, and that's what I'm paying at Target. All right, so second place coffee. Drum roll. We have tasting number 3. Oh, this is the Starbucks Veranda, their new blonde blend that they just released fairly recently. Show it to you there. Veranda from Starbucks. We gave it an average of 70. And coffeereview.com gave it an 80. So somebody's right and somebody's wrong. All right, so the winner of these 4, keep in mind we have no idea what these coffees are.
Just wondering what the cost on the veranda was.
Yeah, the Starbucks.
Oh.
Probably.
Oh, Starbucks. Yeah. $10.65 per pound.
Oh.
Yeah.
So the pizza's still more. Okay.
All right, I'm impressed. I'm keeping all these numbers straight. So our first place coffee scored a 74.3 average, which in the coffee world wouldn't even be considered specialty coffee, but it was our favorite based on the 3 tastes here. Are there any guesses on what you might think it is?
I don't.
Yeah, so we've got another Archer Farms breakfast blend. A light roast from Target. Archer Farms Breakfast Blend was our favorite, and those, as we mentioned, go for $8.92 per pound. And so I wanted to bring up the little twist I was talking about. So tasting number 3 was the Veranda blend that my mom mentioned that she liked so much on the first tasting. Remember that?
Yep.
And the reason, and I was incorrect in this, the reason I thought you liked it so much is I thought it might have been a Folgers or a Maxwell House, something that you were used to back in the day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It brought back, memories from,
That's true. That does affect what we think.
Yeah.
And I was incorrect in that. So this brings us to the wrap-up section of the show. So if you could post in the comments section, what is your favorite coffee? Which coffees have surprised you? Which coffees have you been disappointed in? Have you done any coffee tastings like this? This might be a regular segment on our show. So leave your favorite coffee in the comments section. And then also, if you could subscribe to my YouTube channel, the button that looks like that, I would love it. If you could like it, that would be awesome. Thumbs up, baby. And if you could share it on your Facebook page, all you have to do is click the share button, copy that link. I would really appreciate it, trying to get the word out there about my new consumer insights company. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next episode of the Nash Potatoes Coffee Show.
Yeah. Woo!
Thank you, ladies, for participation.